What's going on, Nerd Army guys? Welcome to the newest episode of Nerds Mirage. Today, guys, we're going to continue our journey into the world of the Last Kingdom. Now, this has been a cool story. We've only got one episode in, but it has been really jam-packed. So, without further ado, let's grab our swords and our axes and let's jump right in to episode number 2. All right, guys, let's go. So now Uhtred's on the run, and he goes and he decides that him and Brida are going to go see Ubba and tell him like what happened, that this guy attacked Ragnar, and try to use him to help them take back Bebbanburg, which would be cool if it works. So Uhtred and Brida are heading through this small little Saxon village, but it looks like it's been sacked. People are dead. Shit's kind of fucked up and destroyed. And then they see one survivor. They get down there as he attacks, and they get up to him just to try to get some info on what's going on. They get him to talk, and he tells them what happened. He explains that it was payback because one of the Englishmen killed a Dane, and his name was Uhtred. So obviously they're spinning this story to make Uhtred the bad guy instead of these other douchebags. This kind of fucks everything up because Brida realizes that Appa's going to actually use this as a reason to kill Uhtred the second he sees his ass. So shit's getting a little tough. So then we go to Wessex and we see Alfred being visited by Beocca. But he's not being visited normally because Alfred's fucking around with someone that's not his wife. Yes, Alfred is the brother of the king, and he loves to write some shit down, and he loves to fuck bitches that ain't his wife. So Beocca kind of mentions, can you bring up Uhtred in the meeting? Because obviously he says he turned on the Danes that had captured him, blah, blah, blah. They're getting a different story now themselves. Sounds suspicious. But unfortunately, the message doesn't get through because no one gives a fuck about Uhtred right now, and Beocca's the only one that cares. Then we see Brida and Uhtred on a hillside watching the town burn, and they recall the lesson they were taught a long time ago: never stand up to Ubba. It's not a good idea. So over the little fire, little cute chat between Brida and Uhtred suggests that they do some humping because he sees it in their future and it's their destiny. And it's really fucking humorous. It's really funny when it happens. And you don't think she's turning it down. And then they just start fucking anyways. And it gets a little rough. And it's good times. So after a good humping, it clears their heads. And they decide that they need a hostage. So they're going to plan to capture Story, the sorcerer of Ubba, and use him as a hostage to get a meeting with him, ensuring that Ubba won't kill him. Because he wants his sorcerer back. So then we meet the king of West Anglia. And Ubba has him trapped in a church. And he sees this picture and asks him about these images that he's seeing around here, like his Christ and all this other stuff. And he points to a picture of a guy with arrows all in his body. He's all, that's Saint Sebastian. He tells him the story of how he got shot and God kept him alive. So he's all, well, let's test out your theory. And Appa lines up all these motherfuckers. And yeah, they start blasting arrows into the king. But he dies. So he's like, Appa's like, well, obviously it didn't work. Are you a saint now? So Uhtred jumps in the middle of this. They make Uhtred watch while they're doing this to the king. And then they turn to Uhtred and decide it's time to handle some shit and you need to die. And he's all, well, I have Story. So if I die, Story dies. And that's not what you want, right? So let's talk about this. Let's have a discussion. So then we see Uhtred explain himself. Ubba really does not give a shit. So Uhtred is allowed to leave and he'll release Story. So he takes off, he gets the fuck out of there, and he sees Brida off in the distance with Story strapped over, knocked out, over a motherfucking horse with a big stick sticking into his asshole. And Brida put it in his asshole for real. And she's like, this is more fun. Like, she was just having a good time with it. It was really funny. And I love Brida because of the shit like this. So they smack it, the horse gets galloping. The fucking dude's got a stick in his ass and it's bouncing up and down and he can't get up. So it's going to be a long ride and it's going to be a funny ride. And is he going to bleed? Uhtred tries to explain to Brida that they are no longer Danes. They're not going to be accepted by Ubba or anyone else. And she said, young Ragnar will believe us. We still have to give him his silver. He'll believe us. That's it. So then we get to see Uhtred visit a merchant and go visit a blacksmith where he can get a sword made. He wants a sword to last a lifetime and be a nice lightweight. He explains it to the guy. The guy's like, you know what, I'll do it for this much. And Uhtred talks him down to like 8 silver pieces. It's going to be bad. So he goes and commissions a sword, but in the hilt, he wanted the stone his father gave him, making him the heir to Bebbanburg. So it's going to be on the sword. That's really, really fucking awesome. I'm stoked about that. So then we see the king's son, Ethelwald, drunk as fuck. He is brought before the king, and he's just basically berated on how much of a piece of shit he is. And he explains to his father, like, I will do better. I will do better starting today, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'll do better. Yeah, bullshit. So then we see the king meet privately with Ubba, his right-hand man, and he tells him, you know what? When I die, my son cannot be king. It needs to go to my brother Alfred. He needs to be the king. And I need you to push the matter in court. So Ubba's going to do as the king wishes, and Ethelwald's probably not going to be happy. So then we get to see Uhtred being cute with Brida and chasing around and tickling and fucking around. And then we get a cool, awesome sword-making montage of his sword being crafted while he's fucking Brida's brains out. And yeah, it gets pretty heated, gets pretty intense, but it's good times and it's good TV. 2 thumbs up. Great job. So he goes and gets his sword from the blacksmith, and god damn it, I am impressed. It is beautiful. The stone looks sick on the handle. It looks awesome. It is phenomenal. So he goes in there, he handles this shit, he checks it out, he loves it. Blacksmith says, hey bro, thanks for your business, and these dudes have been looking for you, so just a heads up. So Uhtred hurries his ass back to Brida to get their shit together to book it, because they're in trouble. So then we get to see a badass chase scene where these dudes are all chasing him and Brida all around, and they're chasing after Uhtred, and Brida breaks a motherfucker's back with her damn axe. It was savage. And that's 2 this episode. Yeah, fucked up. So basically, Brida's a bad bitch. Stay out her way. And then so this awesome chase scene where we get these awesome overhead views mixed with cross views across the screen. It just looks really cool. I really enjoyed the chase scene. It kept me like at the edge of my seat. And where they were taking these guys out in such intricate ways, especially the dude at the very end where he's running up on the door and Uhtred just slams the fucking sword right through his damn... Oh, it was savage. Great scene. I loved it. So with no chance of getting the Danes to get on their side, they decide to head to Wessex. Brida's not happy, but this is what they're doing right now. So Uhtred arrives, then wants to talk to the king. The head of the king's guard is kind of a douchebag to him, doesn't really get along with him at first, and he does kind of talk some shit, and they're about to throw down, and then Beocca shows up and puts a stop to it, welcomes him in, gets him set aside so he can go talk to Alfred instead of the king, talk to the king's brother. And Beocca says, this will be a smart move for you, let's do this. And he takes him to go see Alfred. So Alfred tells Uhtred about his eyes and ears all throughout the kingdom, and that they're feeding the Uppas out looking for him, and along with the guy that killed Ragnar. So it's going to be an interesting time to see how this goes out and how this plays out. Alfred also reveals that he has aspirations to all of England to be united under one crown, and that's the total overall goal. And yeah, one England, one crown. So Beocca talks to Uhtred while Alfred goes and does his prayers. He talks to Uhtred and explains to him he went through the paperwork. He is the rightful heir to Bebbanburg, but Alfred knows he's the proper elderman and he's the current elderman, but that's not really Alfred's brother's kingdom. That's a whole nother kingdom. So there's nothing he can do at the moment, but Beocca is going to really put his foot down and try to get some shit done. Uhtred goes and tries to help out with what he was trying to get help from Alfred, and Alfred asks him to go scout ahead. He goes and he scouts these Vikings that are coming in and goes and reports back to Alfred to tell him that they'll be here fucking real soon. Not like your boys are saying, real damn soon. You got to get ready. But Alfred knows what he knows, and he believes in what he knows. He doesn't trust Uhtred, so he kind of ignores the advice and orders that Uhtred and Brida be caged while they go to battle. And yeah, it's fucked up. He was helping you out. He was very helpful in the long run, and now you're caging him? That's fucked up. Alfred uses the advice that Uhtred gave him about attacking from a certain angle, where they had the higher ground, and being ready for the Vikings would throw them off and give them the victory ultimately. And it worked. But during the battle, the king was injured. So Alfred came back in hopes to save his brother's life and brought his brother back. They're trying to save the king. So Alfred is praying. Dude, get in there and do some medicine. Sorry. So even after his way of doing this and his battle strategy won the day, he's still in a cage, which is really fucked up. Guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I personally enjoyed it from start to finish. We're learning so much about these characters. They're getting fleshed out so much more, and we're actually starting to really care about Uhtred and Brida, especially them. Some of the other characters are okay. Like, I like Bianca, and at this point, Alfred's just a douche. So we'll see how that develops. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in particular and my review down in the comments down below. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and keep up with all the videos we put out every week, including this and our Game of Thrones series, and more series in the future will be coming out. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments down below. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with everything we put out every week, including all the other great series that we do right here on the channel. And we will see you guys next time for another episode of Nerds Memorized. See you later, guys. Peace out.